shoes were thrown, footballers were harassed, and the national anthem was booed. But by the final whistle, the Mohammed bin Zayed Stadium was silenced not once, not twice, but 4 times, as Qatar ran rampage over the Emirati rivals in the semi-final of the Asian Cup. But as in all big derbies, this was much more than just a game. So what's behind all the shoes, goals, and celebrations? In this year's Emirati-hosted Asia Cup, the slogan of the competition was "Let's bring Asia together," words reminding fans that football carries a message of peace and unity. However, the Asian Cup has always left space for a bit of politics, including Iran versus Iraq, the Korean derby, and the list goes on. But in this year's edition, matches such as Qatar versus Saudi Arabia and the most recent fixture, Qatar versus the UAE, have been transformed from what used to be friendly-like games between neighboring countries that share the same language, ethnicity, and religion to what is now known as the Blockade derbies. The Blockade, referring to the Gulf crisis that emerged nearly 2 years ago after Donald Trump's visit to Riyadh in May 2017, after which Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Bahrain, and Egypt cut off diplomatic relations with Doha and blocked land, air, and sea travel to the tiny peninsula. But the blockade was only a symptom of much wider differences between the Gulf neighbours. Foreign policy differences between Qatar and the Saudi bloc became clear in the lead-up to and during the Arab Spring. In Palestine, when the Gaza-based Hamas movement won nationwide elections in 2007, they gained the full support of Qatar. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia and the UAE branded Hamas a terrorist organization. Moreover, during the start of the Arab revolutions in Tunisia, Saudi Arabia and the UAE offered refuge to ousted dictator Ben Ali, while Qatar-funded Al Jazeera beamed images of Tunisians celebrating the dictator's departure, popularizing anti-government protests across the region. In Egypt, after the 25th January revolution, Qatar showed its full support to the Muslim Brotherhood and the country's first democratically elected president, Mohammed Morsi. But Saudi Arabia and the UAE supported former Field Marshal Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and provided 30 billion in aid to help prop up his military-backed regime after he seized power in 2013. These divergences between Qatar and its frenemies are also clear in Libya, Syria, and across the Arab landscape. To sum it up, Qatar is largely seen as an instigator of the Arab Spring, whereas Saudi Arabia and the UAE are seen as powers that pushed back against it, in an effort to maintain the status quo. It may be difficult for outsiders to grasp the extent of this Cold War within the region. But even how you see the game on your television may depend on which side your government has decided to align with. As Qatari-funded beIN Sports have spent billions acquiring the rights to be the sole broadcaster of big tournaments in the region. But after the blockade was imposed, the Saudis cut the beIN signal and launched beOutQ, which basically transmits the beIN signal. And now, beIN are seeking legal action. And so this is what happens when this all plays out in a football game. And this is why these celebrations meant so much. And by the way, it's not over yet, because soon it's going to be time for the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. And if the neighbours qualify, well, I get to make more videos. وهي دي والرباعية والعنب